If you're reviewing your 2026 software budget and your list of SaaS subscriptions just keeps growing and growing, maybe now is a good time to take a look at that. Lots of small businesses have this problem and they end up paying for way more SaaS tools than they actually need. Things like project trackers, CRMs, expense apps, time trackers, etc. These are all supposed to make things easier and more efficient, but in reality, when you have so many tools and there's so much overlap between them, half of them end up going unused, but the monthly fees just keep adding up. So the question is, what if your team could easily create the exact tools that they need without all the subscriptions? And I'm not trying to sell you some kind of different product here, and this isn't AI magic of some kind. What I'm trying to do is sell you on something that you may already have. But before we get to that, if this is your first time visiting the channel, hi there, my name is Doug, and what we're talking about today is one of the biggest hidden costs in small business, and that's SaaS sprawl. Here's how that usually works. You sign up for one tool to manage products, and then another to track expenses, and then something else for time tracking, and etc. Tool after tool after tool. And it's $50 here, $100 there. And before you know it, you're paying thousands of dollars every month for all these different apps and only using a fraction of what each one of them can actually do. You've got all these powerful, expensive tools, but most of them just sit there unused. And on top of that, your information is spread across all these different tools. So your team spends half their day jumping from one of them to another, just trying to get simple things done. So now it's time to plan your 2026 budget, and you might be looking at this stack of subscriptions you have and asking yourself, which one of these do we actually need? That's the SaaS sprawl problem, and if you've got it, you're not alone. And it's not that these tools are bad, it's that in many cases, they're just way more than what you actually need. You're basically paying a Ferrari payment for a Ford problem. Well, the good news is that if you're already using Google Workspace for email and Google Docs and Google Sheets, etc., you already have access to something that can solve those basic problems, and that's Google AppSheet. AppSheet lets your team create simple apps that solve their own problems without having to wait on a developer or an IT project to do it for them. And it doesn't just do one thing, it can do whatever they need it to because they're able to make the apps themselves to solve their specific problems. Let's look at a couple quick examples. First is project management. If you use tools like Asana or Monday.com just to manage simple to-do lists and project boards, you may be paying way more than you need to be. With AppSheet, you can build your own lightweight project tracker that connects directly to Google Sheets and saves its data there so your team is working in a tool that they're already familiar with. And they can also add tasks and update progress and even get notifications in Gmail or Google Chat, all right inside Google Workspace. Again, if your needs are fairly basic, you can get exactly what you need without the cost and complexity of a big project management platform. Another example is CRM. Platforms like Salesforce and HubSpot are incredibly powerful, but the cost can quickly add up. If your main goal is just tracking customers, leads, and follow-ups, AppSheet can handle that too. And this is all just scratching the surface. You can create tools for expense tracking, inventory, time logging, internal requests. The list just goes on and on. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting that you replace your major enterprise applications with AppSheet. Things like ERP and global payroll systems are incredibly complex, and many times the cost of those tools is well worth the value that you get from them. But for these smaller task-specific tools, AppSheet is a great way to simplify, save money, and create something built specifically for your team and your business. If you're curious about whether AppSheet makes sense for you, your business, your team, etc., I'd be happy to set up a quick meeting where we can talk through that. Just use the link down below to contact me, tell me a little bit about your business, your situation, etc., and I'll get back to you to set something up. So as you plan your 2026 budget, remember that one of the best ways to save might be to make better use of the tools that you're already paying for, like AppSheet, again, part of Workspace. Thanks for watching, happy budgeting, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help.